Imagine God created man in his own image and put him in the Garden of Eden and put him in charge of everything. That is the role of a man and a father. We would want to know more, or we would want to know more about fathers from my panel. My name is Julie Mahinda. Molimu, kindly introduce yourself and tell us 3 things about yourself that we do not know.
Yeah, thank you, Julie, for the introduction and for inviting me into this session. I'm humbled. I'm Washira, a teacher by profession, married to Joyce, blessed with 3 children, 2 boys and a girl.
Jesse?
Thank you, Julie. My name is Jesse Justin Minor, aka Baba Samantha, aka Mr. Romance, aka Jabaya Wedo. And thank you so much for having me here. I'm a father of 4 kids, 1 girl, 3 boys, and another is on the way. We don't know yet. And 3 things about me: I'm a traditionist. I believe in traditional religion. Another thing, I'm a very proud father, and I like to be a father, and I work so hard to be a father. And the last, I love my kids. Thank you.
Patrick?
Thank you so much, Julie, for having me here today this afternoon. First of all, I'm Patrick Wahome Nyaga. I'm a father of 1, a very brilliant boy called Eli. Elfaz, famously known Eli. I'm a talented MC, an event organizer. I run a company that does a lot of things around events. It's also a consultant events company known as Mountain Realtors Expo, which have done a lot of remarkable events here. And basically also, I'm also an aspiring reader here in Kenya, so that at least as we celebrate Father's Day, we can also be able to advocate and even bring or tap in issues in our maybe assemblies, so that we can be able to advocate for policies and laws that governs and even protect fathers. Because as things are going on, fathers will continue to be eroded from our culture. Thank you.
Robert?
Thank you very much for having me on the show. My name is Robert Fombogo, and I'm glad that I'm here to talk about fatherhood. I've been a surrogate father for 3, 2 boys and a girl, and I'm glad I'm here. 3 things about me you don't know. I'm a youth counselor, I'm a basketball coach, and also I'm a mentor. Thank you. Looking forward to having a lively discussion.
Robert, do you think, from what Wahome has said, the fathers have been eroded? Do you think that's true?
Fathers have been eroded.
Eroded.
Well, there is a truth in that statement, but I would not want to talk about their erosion so much, because after all, who is a father? A father, to me, is the person who is responsible for everyone we see around. There must be a father for anyone who is here. There must be a father involved for all of us to be here. And erosion, yes, to some degree, but to me, I would want to celebrate all fathers. It's not an easy thing to be a father. And so, to me, that is what I would say. Probably Mr. Washira can tell us more.
I cannot understand. Eroded by who and eroded by what? The significance of manhood and fatherhood will ever be there. There is no humanity, there is no mankind without the father. The only, I think what you are calling erosion and man being eroded is simply man neglecting his duties. They are there. The other person that is taking the responsibilities and the duties of a man is simply because man is not there. He's not taking his responsibilities. I think I don't get the word erosion.
I want to ask this. People say it's there in the social media that all people can be fathers and all men cannot be dads. Is that true?
It-
What is
it-
the difference between a father and a dad?
Yeah, it's true. Being a father is simply, let me use the word, donating sperms. But being a dad is claiming the responsibility and the duties of bringing up a child throughout his life.
Home, you are a dad. What's your experience so far? Are you celebrating it? Is it difficult?
Yeah, this one thing I say, being a parent is awesome, but fatherhood is a blessing. The reason I'm saying so is because personally, as a young dad, we learn a lot along the way. And being a young dad, you also need to learn from seniors like Mzee Washira, who will help you interject between the dads of today and the dads of their time. Because dads of today, we end up relying so much on westernization and we forget about tradition. And that's where we are losing a lot. So I'll say fatherhood depends on how you are ready to be a dad and also on how you are ready to learn and be coached. Because it's like a football match. Let me give this example because I know most of fathers, like my brother Robert here, despite him not being maybe a football fan, he loves basketball. And for a young player to shine like the legend players, the young player must learn a lot from the legend players. So I'll just say fatherhood is not hard. It's very easy. It only needs you to accept to learn and also to be ready to be coached. And also, it's also good to learn more from your family, mostly your children. Just understand what they love, how you can be able to fit to their level, and how you can be able maybe to pull them to the level you want them to be. So fatherhood is so awesome and nice. Only that be ready to learn, be ready to be coached, and be ready even to gather a lot of information and even to copy what others are doing. But don't copy paste. Copy paste and do it in your own way. Yeah.
Just you're a single father. Is it difficult? Is it different? How do your children take it?
It's kind of very hard, but
Do you have ample time with these kids?
I'll say I create ample time for them because there is the world we are living today. It's about hustling, and doing everything. But unless you create time for your children, you can never say you have ample time with them. And it's very difficult for a man to be a single father, especially to a girl. Now, you see, you have to do a lot of stuff by your own. And I became a single father of my daughter when I was very young, because she was born actually when I was very young, and she was left at the age of 9 months. Right now, she's 6 years and 4 months. So this is the time that she really needs the mother. This is the time I'm changing napkins, I'm washing her clothes, I'm taking her to the daycare. And unfortunately for me, my mom was not ready at that time to stay with her. So I had to take her to a daycare in the morning, go get her in the evening, cook for her, wash her, do everything. And she's a girl. And mind you, in my family, I'm a firstborn. So I didn't have someone I raised. So it was a very new experience for me. But I think it was hard, but I was equal to the task because I love my daughter. I adore her. She's everything to me. So I did everything, and I always do everything up to date.
Robert, time is an issue when it comes to fathers because most of the time they are not around. What do you think? What do you think should fathers create more time for us as their children? What's there for us?
Yeah, they should create, or we should create more time with our families as fathers. But that is not also possible depending on the context, because we know that a father is mainly the provider, is supposed to be a provider in the family and someone who takes care of his family. And sometimes duty might call for you to be far away from the family. But the truth is that more time is needed. You're needed. You're not only needed to provide, you're supposed to also provide your own self. You're supposed to provide, to have more time with your family. But there are instances that it is not possible, where someone needs to go very far away.
You know, when they're home, they want to watch news, they want to have their personal time, not the family time.
Yes, even the presence there is enough. It does a lot just to be around, because just the male figure in the house, like my fellow friend here has said about the absence of one of the parents in that family. So even the presence of the person in the house has
The
a lot.
presence, is it time? Is it, do we feel the impact that is around? Because when I look back, I see there's tension and you feel tensed when your dad is around rather when he's away.
Well, and that's what being a male is all about. You know, your presence should be felt. You should be there, and someone should feel that yes, dad is around. You know, dad should not just be like some of the examples we are seeing today. Although we are calling it the parenting of the 21st century, is not anything to write home about. You know, they can play around with the father. They just want to, you know, they can do anything. But I believe when a man is in the house, he should command some presence. So it's good just to even be around and to give time and to have your presence felt around.
Patrick, at what age do you think we should start disciplining our kids from a dad's perspective?
I think discipline to our kids, I think should start when those kids starts realizing whom they are. When I'm saying this is because again, it's not good to wait for your child to grow to a level whereby you cannot be able to cushion him or her. When I say this, I think disciplining our kids also should be done in a way when they are still very young, because it is good they grow with discipline. Yeah, and don't wait until they grow very old to start disciplining them. I think that will be our total waste of time. There's also something that he said: you don't wait for a tree to grow to a point that you cannot be able to put it back into shape. So I think discipline should be start at a very tender age, but also discipline is not a must. It comes in the way where my brother Robert is saying that you command presence. 21st parenting is an awesome parenting whereby we want to be friends to our children. We want to be there with their best friends, not to make mistakes that maybe some of us.
Then they should not be called fathers. They should be called friends. You know, when you're
We're in the 21st century.
there's
Robert.
nothing like 21st century. The 21st century is a century
You
like
know,
any
we
other
grew
century.
up with a lot of fear of our fathers.
You know,
Yes, and that should be retained to some degree.
Julie,
I want to propose. It should be
Let me-
there because it has something it is doing.
let me tell my brother Robert here something. Do you know why we made a lot of mistakes when we were very young? It is because we used to fear our dads or our parents very much, such that when your dad is in a sitting room, you cannot even have a minute with him.
But I want to I want to say that I am who I am today. Although I went through all that, I am who I am. I have become who I am today, a responsible person, because of that kind of treatment.
Mwalimu, what do you think about this?
I'm loving their discussion. The issue of at what age you start disciplining the child should be as early as possible. For example, at what stage does the child start making mistakes? At what time do you want to tell the child or to direct the child that this is how you should go and this is how you should not go? In fact, if you read Proverbs 19 verse 18, inasema that correct the child before he destroys himself. So make a correction of the child. That means discipline the child before he destroys himself. So as early as possible. If you wait, as Pastor Waboe is saying, if you wait for the child to grow and then you try to bed, you break the person. So as early as possible. And again, you don't have to discipline by beating.
And just to add on what they're saying, when you say we are in the 21st century, we also need to see what's happening in that century. We are having drug addicts more than the previous century. We are having deaths of young people more than the previous centuries. So it all depends with how you want to raise your kids. And I think, like Robert said, the presence of a man should be felt. Like when you go in the house, they'll say, "Daddy is here." If they're doing something wrong, they need to run. You don't have to say, "Oh, you are my daughter, whatever you're doing, it's okay, but don't do that again." You need to stand as a man for your children to be responsible and corrective parents in the future.
On that note, Jesse, let me just ask you a question. If I'm drinking and my father is tough, will I go tell him what is happening? But if he's a friendly father, I'll go talk to him. I don't know if you understand me.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand you. You see,
Because the way we were brought up, you have the fear. You can't tell him anything. But right now, the way we're bringing up our kids, they're free. They can talk to us because we are friends.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
Does telling him or not telling him stop the fact that you are doing something wrong? Does it? You are saying because you are a friend to your child, the child will be free to be able to talk to you and tell you what they are doing that is wrong. But a wrong is a wrong, whether they tell me or they don't tell me. I'd rather they fear to tell me because of the presence that I'm commanding, instead of them coming to tell me, although I am a friend to them. Because I would want to imagine that probably there are other mechanisms or other places that correction can happen. Like, for example, if a child is taken to the church, and I would want really to advocate for that they are being corrected there, instead of me having to go that way, that you want me to be so friendly that so that I'll be able to be told what is going on in their life.
and also to add on that, the moment you see a child being so confident, telling the parent, what, Dad, I'm taking drugs, I'm taking alcohol, I think that's the kind of confidence that should be condemned in the highest order. Because they are not only drinking, they are doing other stuff. But then he or she is having the confidence to say, "You know what, Dad, I'm taking alcohol." But in real sense, there are other things that they will not say. Like, for instance, for me today, even if I drink alcohol, I would not like my mother to know or to see. Not that she'll beat me up, but, I fear, I respect her as a parent. So even if I know I'm drunk and then she says, "Just, you know what, you need to come home," I'll not go there. I'd rather switch off my phone. So it's because of the discipline and the fear they installed in the century that Wahome wants to tell us is an ancient century, the previous century, that it's not the 21st century. But I think, like you asked the question, if it will be right for you to tell your father if you're drinking or not, I'll say it's a very wrong idea. Because if my daughter does that, the next weekend will be her burial.
Why?
Why?
Mwalimu, what do you think?
Why will she tell me that? Why will she drink in the first place?
Mwalimu, what's your view on this? Should us as children not be friends with our parents?
Yeah, I want to come to what they are calling fear. If you are talking of the 21st century parent, then the word fear should not come in. We should be talking of respect. I respect my parents so much that I cannot do this. I cannot do that. And not just doing, I cannot tell him or her this because I respect her, because I respect him. If you fear, it simply means that when you are present, they are running away from you. If they are running away from you, then when will you ever bless them? Then when will you ever have a communication with them? They should be friendly with you, but that friendship should be based on they respect you. They don't want to, because even running away from you is actually indiscipline. Why should you be running away from me?
That is what Jesse is doing.
Yes.
Because he's hiding. Anaficha mama yake.
Julie, let me contribute something. Let me throw in a point to what Mwalimu has just raised. Mwalimu says something very important. Let us try be our best friends to our kids. Because of what? I've seen friends of mine who have kids, maybe a bit elder than me, but they try to be to put in dictatorship when raising their children. Why am I calling dictatorship? You are trying to force your children into line. You don't have time to study them, what they love and what they don't love. And what I think, when you become